about it. Not only, just make a movie, because people would want to watch a movie because they want to watch it longer instead of watching multiple episodes and wasting your black screen.
Yeah, I think that is an absolutely brilliant suggestion, and that's something that I've been considering, because my videos are quite short. They're normally only about a minute long, and going back to what I was saying before, people learn in different ways. Some people just want it quick, something bite-sized that they can just easily digest, but other times people might want something that's longer, something that goes into a bit more depth and more detail. So that is something that I've had on my agenda, and yeah, I'm definitely gonna start doing some longer form content as well for those who are interested in that form of learning.
So Big Manny on the big screen coming soon.
Okay.
We've got another question just higher up in black puffer coat as well.
I love science, and my experiment is putting the fire in carbon dioxide and just lost it.
Sorry, the experiment is putting a fire into carbon dioxide?
Yeah, and can blast.
That's what you want to do for your experiment?
Yeah.
Okay, carbon dioxide and fire, you want to mix them? Firstly, I would say make sure you got your parents' supervision when you're doing that one. But I'll be honest though, if you mix fire and carbon dioxide, the fire's gonna go out, because carbon dioxide extinguishes fires. If you want the fire to be big, you need oxygen. But you didn't hear that from me though.
With the black jacket,
Young
white
man,
stripe.
further along.
Yeah, I think he's popped his head.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why don't you just put some fire in water and see how long it can last in it?
Yeah, I've done some experiments with fire and water. So for example, if you get some alkali metals like sodium, potassium, cesium, if you drop them into water, what they do is they turn into a sphere and they melt. So these metals, they're solids, but when they go into water, they turn into liquid, and it skids along the surface of the water like a little spinning ball. And then eventually what it does, it catches fire. And then after it burns for a few seconds, you get an explosion. But before the explosion, you literally have, the water is just on fire. There's just a fire on top of the surface of the water. So yeah, if you look up some videos of sodium or potassium reacting with water, then you literally see fire on top of the water.
You should add more characters and then put them together to make things. Like when you said that when you add sodium carbonate or something.
Yeah, sodium and chlorine.
Salt
yeah.
to make and potassium to make salt, then you should make more characters to make everyday objects.
Okay, yeah, alright then. Yeah, I'm gonna have a think about some more. Yeah. Because another one that I've got hydrogen as well. Hydrogen and oxygen. They go on a little date, and obviously when the hydrogen reacts with oxygen, it produces H2O, which is water. So yeah, that's the reaction between hydrogen and oxygen. But yeah, I'm gonna think of some more though, because especially as you like them, so I'm gonna do some more, definitely. Thank you.
Yes, we've got some questions down the front.
I'm coming. Okay, who's first?
So basically, with the balloon experiment, you said that the water inside there is basically now water. So could you drink it?
That's a brilliant question. And theoretically, yes, you could. However, if you want to make sure that it's 100% pure water, then you'll have to add the exact amounts of vinegar and baking soda, because you want to make sure that all of the vinegar is converted into water. Because if you don't add enough baking soda, then you're still going to have a little bit of the acid left there. But if you add too much baking soda, then all of the vinegar is going to turn into water, but then you're going to be drinking some of the baking soda as well. But if you add the perfect amount, then all of the vinegar is going to get converted into water, and there's going to be no extra baking soda left, and you'll be able to drink it as pure water. So yeah, if you get the amounts right, you can definitely drink it.
Thank you.
So, how many experiments have you made for the past year?
Oh wow. I think online I've got around 300 videos. So, and I've been doing this for about 3 years now. So on average, that probably works out about 100 videos a year.
What do I need to do in college to get the same university degree course you took?
You would need some chemistry or biology. Those are the main two subjects that you will need for biomedical science. So you could do chem or bio A levels, or you could do a BTEC applied science course. So yeah, those are the main things that you need. But what I would say though is, yeah, revise early, start early. Like what I used to do, yeah, when I had exams, like I would literally start my revision from the start of term. So I would literally just start putting all my notes together and just start learning it. I wouldn't wait until the exam is coming up to start revising and start going over all of the topics. I go over the topics like a week after I learn them, because when you do that, yeah, it's still fresh in your head. But if you wait like weeks and months, yeah, when you come back to it, it's going to be like learning a whole new subject again. So while it's fresh in your memory, revise it like a week after, within a week or 2 weeks. That's that really helped me to get the grades. That's what I would recommend. Revise early as you can.
And then just leading on from her question, what could she expect in a degree for biomedical science? So what kind of things did you have to do during your degree?
So I did a lot of microscopy. So I would look at different samples under a microscope. Like for example, I might have like a blood sample, maybe a bone sample, or maybe a skin sample. And basically what I'm doing is looking for any abnormalities or any irregularities in the sample and comparing it to a healthy one, so that we can then make a diagnosis for the patient. Also did a lot of learning about how the different organ systems in the body work. So for example, the circulatory system, the respiratory system, the nervous system. Yeah, and I found it fascinating just learning about how the body works. Yeah, that's mainly what biomedical science is.
Great, thank you. Got a question just at the front as well.
Do you have any books for sale?
Yeah, we do. This is my most recent book, Science is Lit. That's here today. Yeah. Yeah, we're doing a signing afterwards. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm -1 for anybody who didn't hear that. And then the row just behind as well.
Have you been approached by any of the school boards to come into school and demonstrate some of your experiments that you've done to encourage the children to perhaps go into the field that you are encouraging them to do, because you work with young people. As you said, you don't see very many of us in class doing that, so that would be a good stimulation for them. If they didn't like chemistry, by them seeing you visually, they probably would enjoy it more. And second question is, where do you do most of your experiments?
Yeah, definitely. So every so often I go into schools and I'll speak to the students. I'll tell them about my journey as a content creator, and my background is science as well, and I'll do like some experiments with them. Like earlier on this year, I went to my old primary school, and I hadn't been there for about probably like 15, 20 years. And yeah, I spoke to the kids there, saw some of my old teachers as well, and yeah, just inspired the kids, because yeah, I feel like watching the videos, it can have a big impact, but I feel like in person as well, it can have an even more long-lasting effect. So yeah, definitely going to schools. And I mainly film my videos at home, so I just film it in my back garden. Sometimes maybe in my room as well, as long as there's no fire. But yeah, man, because I want to show people that it's accessible. You don't need to have some big expensive lab with this big expensive equipment and all of that. You can just do it from the comfort of your own home. So yeah, man, that's mainly what I do.
Yes. Did you want to pass it over to him? Got a follow-up question. Yeah. They've been waiting patiently.
At secondary school, I've been learning about elements. How do you tell the difference between non-metals and metals?
Oh, that's a brilliant question. I would say one of the main differences is in their electrical conductivity. So metals are brilliant conductors of electricity, but non-metals aren't as good. And also, metals are brilliant thermal conductors as well, so they conduct heat very well. Whereas the non-metals are mainly insulators. So yeah, those are the main things that I would say: electrical conductivity, thermal conductivity. Yeah, that's what I would say.
And then just a bit further. Oh, back. Let's go all the way to the back.
Give me 5 minutes, we soon come. How back is back? Yeah.
Right or left?
Okay.
Well, I'm really interested in science, but like mostly chemistry. And as you were saying about metals, that they're good heat conductors and electrical conductors. What about like copper? Because most lightning rods are made out of copper. So wouldn't copper be and also good heat conductor because of lightning, and then electrical conductor too?
You're very intelligent.
Thank you.
Yeah, that is a brilliant observation. Copper is one of the best electrical conductors we have, which is why we use it to make wires. If you look at wires, most of them are made from copper metal. And I believe copper is the second best electrical conductor out of all the metals in the whole world. Number one is silver. Silver is the best electrical conductor, but we don't really use it to make wires that much because it's quite expensive. Copper is more affordable. That's why we use it. And gold is also up there as well. Gold is a brilliant conductor of electricity, but again, it's very expensive, so that's why we don't use it for that reason. But yeah, copper is yeah, you're brilliant, man. I love that.
I just want to say thank you for teaching science in such a straightforward and easy manner for simpletons like me to understand. I'm very grateful. I would like to buy the Sciences Lit for my nephew as a Christmas present. Will you be providing the experiment kits in addition that I could buy online as a gift set? Or?
Oh, thank you very much. You know what? Science kits are still in the works, you know. Yeah, we'll
right, 2020.
Yeah, I'll say.
Christmas.
Give me another year or so, and then we'll have the science kits as well. But yeah, no, thank you for yeah, appreciate that.
Okay, and then what is your favourite element of the periodic table and why?
Oh, wow. I would say probably one of my favourites has to be cesium, the one that I was talking about before, where it just explodes in the air. Because, yeah, it's just the most reactive metal in the whole world. Like, it will literally just melt in the air. That's how reactive it is. It will just turn from a solid into a liquid because it's just highly unstable. And yeah, man, I love those chemical elements that have a lot of power and a lot of yeah, quite explosive. I love those explosive ones. So cesium is the one.
And just to add on to that, the experiments in his book are using like household items, so you don't need the experiment kit just yet, but when it comes out then you can get it afterwards. Yeah. Let's have a couple more questions. I think a few rows in front on the left.
Yeah, she stole one of my questions. Sorry, suggestions. Yeah, well, it was science kits and live workshops. Because, like, you've already done the book, the videos, the books in different versions, but there's some people that want to kind of learn, getting hands-on and developing that confidence while they're doing it with you. And I'm sure that people will want to, you know, pay for those workshops in advance and, you know, come and learn because you're such a good teacher. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that suggestion. I've actually never considered that before, but that makes a lot of sense. And yeah, if it's something that can get young people engaged and involved, then I would definitely be willing to do that as well. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to look into that then. Definitely, yeah, I will. Thank you for that suggestion. I appreciate that.
Yeah, we'll take a couple more questions. Yeah, just on my left, sorry.
Hi. You mentioned feeling underrepresented in school and sort of through uni. What can you suggest in terms of like advice for people at uni that feeling underrepresentation and then into doing a postgrad as well? Or what were some barriers that you faced and what can you suggest to overcome them?
I'll be honest here, when I did my degree, my degrees, there wasn't many people on my course. There weren't many black boys on my course, and yeah, it mainly wasn't people like me. But I didn't let that affect me in a negative way. I used that to my advantage because I said to myself, like, wow, I'm in quite a nice position here because it's quite an exclusive position. There's not many people here, so I didn't let it bring me down. I used it to propel me forward. So yeah, if anyone's in a situation where you're looking around you and nobody looks like you, view it as a positive, as a plus, as a sign that you've excelled and you've yeah, managed to elevate yourself. And yeah, that's what I would say.
I have two questions actually. If you teach like 15 years ago, how old are you now?
Yeah, so I used to work in a school in 2020, so this was about 4 years ago when I first started working in a school. No, about 5 years, let's say 5 years, and I'm 27 now. So I started working when I was about 21, 22, around that age. So yeah, about 5 years ago, that's when I first got into teaching.
And also, what made you start doing all of this stuff?
Well, that's a nice question. So when I was working in the school, it was during the lockdown period, and then as we know, there was a lot of school closures. And as a result of those school closures, students were missing out on a lot of science. And I started to realize that they were struggling with science. Like basic concepts that they should know, they didn't know because there was no school. And the school that they was having, it was like Google Classroom, Zooms, and it's like you can't really learn as effectively on those platforms. So yeah, I recognized that they were struggling, so I said, you know what, I'm going to start making some science videos to help them catch up with all that they missed out on. And yeah, that's how it started.
We've got time for a couple more questions. Can we just come to the rows in front? Yeah.
First, I want to say thank you for being an inspiration of a topic that normally is so daunting, but you've made it so simple for everybody. So thank you for that. You've dwelt a lot on the highs of your journey to where you are. What I'd like to know, have there been any lows in your journey to where you are? Because we know sometimes those lows, those failures are the parts that excel and you learn more. So really just want to know if there's been any of those lows in your journeys.
Yeah, definitely. What I'll say, when you're a content creator, just in general, content creators tend to focus on numbers. Do you know what I mean? How many views did it get? How many likes did it get? How many comments did it get? That's a big thing for content creators. But what I would say is, don't focus on that. Focus on the impact that your content is having. Is it actually helping people in real life? Is it gonna benefit them? And is it the information that you're giving to them, is it something that they can actually apply to their life and improve it? And when you focus on that, instead of focusing on the numbers, then you'll feel more motivated to keep going when it gets tough. Because you know that you're doing something that is actually gonna benefit people. So even if it's just one person who watches your video and they take something away from that and they apply it to their life and improve themselves, their self, that's something good, that's something positive. But if you're just looking at the numbers, then if the numbers go down, then you're going to lose motivation. You're going to feel like, oh, I can't be bothered no more, it's not really paying off. But yeah, man, I would say focus on the impact that it's having as opposed to numbers, because that's what's most important.
Nice. And then a couple of rows back, there's a guy on the side with sunglasses on.
Yeah, good evening everyone. Firstly brother, you're doing amazing work and you're making us all very proud. Obviously you've mentioned that you want to get into doing physics. Obviously we as a people have a rich history within science and things of that nature, so you stick within the curriculum. Is there any things outside of the curriculum that you looked at that you'd be interested in doing experiments on, and obviously outside of that in the science of physics that would be of interest, do you think, for the people?
Yeah, I think there is a lot of science outside of the curriculum that isn't spoken about enough. For example, certain experiments with sound energy. How can we use sound energy in a way that is different to just listening to something? Yeah, I feel like there are a lot of areas that should be given more attention when it comes to science.
Have we got any children that have got any more questions for Big Manny? just on my left-hand side here.
I'm in year 10 by the way, and I have a lot of equations that I have to memorize for GCSEs. Is there any way or trick that you found that would be easier to memorize equations?
When it comes to memorizing equations, yeah, do you mean word equations and symbol equations, chemical symbol equations?
Yeah.
Well, I think that if you understand how you can get the product of the reaction, if you understand the rationale behind how you actually calculate the equation, you may not even need to memorize it at all, because you know how to compute it and how to gain and get the answer. So what I would suggest is focus on learning the formula of how to solve these equations, because once you learn the formula, you can solve any equation. I can give you an equation that you've never even seen these elements before or these compounds, but you can work out the answer because you know the formula of how to compute it. So instead of just trying to memorize the equations, you could learn the formula of how you get the answer. Yeah, that's my advice, but obviously it's up to you. If you want to memorize it, then that's also an effective method as well, because that's going to come up in the exams. But yeah, if you know the formula of how to get the answer, I feel like that's more powerful than having just the memorized formulas there.
Yes, we'll have one last question before we finish up. I think just the further behind you, on my right.
It's a double entendre.
I'm in year 11 and I don't know whether to choose chemistry or physics, or like go into STEM or go into more humanities based. So how did you make the decision to go into STEM?
Well, the first thing I did, yeah, was I looked at what career do I actually want. And I decided that I wanted to, well, first I wanted to become a doctor. That was my first aspiration. So I used biomedical science as a route to get into medicine. So when I was choosing my GCSEs, I knew that that's the route that I wanted to go down. So I think the first thing you should do here is think of what career do I actually want. And then from there, from you know the career, you can work out what qualifications you're going to need to get there. But I feel like just having a clear vision of where you see yourself in 5 years, 10 years, that can help you to make the decision to what course to choose. Because what you don't want to do, yeah, I've got many friends who have done this. They chose something to study at uni, but then they went and worked in a completely different area that is unrelated to what they study. And there's nothing wrong with that. Of course, you can change your mind and do what you want to do. But if you already pick your career path and you choose the degree that is corresponding to that career path, then yeah, it's a straightforward journey. So yeah, pick your career.
Right, so thank you all for joining us this evening. To Big Manny for joining us, and to Black British Book Festival for putting this on. And if anybody's interested, we have got the Sciences Lit books on -1, and Big Manny will be down there to do some signings for you as well. So thank you everybody.
Thank you very much.